This is DJ the Prodigy Pen, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hey, this is Cain Velasquez, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chuck Liddell, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, he's Wanderlei Jackson Murdo Silva, and you're listening Ringside Report Radio.
This is Tito Ortiz, the People's Champ, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Uriah Faber, the California Kid, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
This is Randy, the Natural Couture, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, this is Vitor Belfort, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chael Sonnen, and you are listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Jacques Fabian, and welcome to Ringside Report Radio.
Hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey.
All right, welcome to the program. It is Ringside Report Radio. I am Dave Simon. Fred Garcia is right here with me. Anthony D'Alessio, AJ, is missing in action. He's not here. He's at a jiu-jitsu tournament out in Boston. Wishing him and his team good luck this weekend at the IBJJF event. Anthony, of course. AJ, yeah, we're calling him AJ tonight. He wants us to call him...
It won't be the same without AJ.
Yeah, that's it. It's not the same without AJ. He wants us to call him AJ when he's here, but we refuse. But since he's not here, let's give him a little AJ shout-out. So, AJ, giving you a big shout-out. Hoping that your team does well this weekend, and we'll have you back with us here in studio next weekend. He said he's going to be doing some coaching. Of course, AJ, I keep trying to call him Anthony. AJ is a jiu-jitsu brown belt. He'll be a black belt one day. And he's out there with his team and coaching some jiu-jitsu this weekend. So, not able to be with us. He was supposed to compete, but he sent me this weird text saying how, the guy I was supposed to fight, he didn't make weight, so I'm just going to be coaching. I'm in the middle heavy division, which sounds made up. You know? The guy, he's like, the guy didn't make weight. We're middle heavy. Middle heavy? What's that? You're either heavy or you're middle. Middle heavy. So, I'm doubting Anthony's story right off the bat. He's saying he was supposed to compete, but somebody pulled out because they couldn't make weight in the middle heavy division. I think we'll have to question Anthony on that a little bit more. A full interrogation next week. I want the whole story, and I want a definition of what the middle heavy division is. Fred, are you as skeptical as I am about Anthony's story?
AJ, I mean...
Oh, yeah, AJ.
I have no reason to doubt AJ. He's always been a good friend to us. Why would he lie? I just don't see AJ. He's such a... he's a stand-up guy. Yeah, the three I's, integrity, intelligence, intensity. That's Anthony.
He is intense.
AJ, I mean.
AJ is pretty intense. He was at my place this past Sunday for WrestleMania. He came over, and it was intense. Johnny North was, I think, a little shaken up. It was the meeting of the shows on Sunday night. Wrestling Uncensored meets Ringside Report Radio for WrestleMania. AJ was there. Big Johnny North was there. The only man missing was you, my man, Fred Garcia. You were not there. But it was a good time nonetheless. We had a good time. And AJ came with the intensity. He brought wine. He brought stuffed olives that his mother had made. And he brought a cheesecake for dessert. I had a whole barbecue set up. We had burgers and chicken and sausage and all sorts of stuff. And AJ brought the thunder with a cake and a wine. And his mom made stuffed olives.
I could apologize for not being there, but I don't really feel sorry, so I don't know. You tell me if you want the apology still.
Wow. No, it's okay. You're like Conor McGregor. You're going to apologize for absolutely nothing.
Exactly. No. I mean, I love wrestling. I watched WrestleMania. It was very entertaining. Actually, I fell asleep. I watched all the way to AJ against Nakamura, which was a great fight. Mm-hmm. But, man... That WrestleMania, what was it, 7-8 hours? Wow, that's a long event.
Yeah, it was about 7 hours. It was a very long show. But it was fun. I enjoyed WrestleMania. Nice to see Ronda Rousey doing so well.
I was impressed. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me, because I'll give her a lot of props. And I was skeptical of her having success, but right now, no, I'm on the other side. I think she could transition very well. She's a great athlete. She needs to, work a little bit on her wrestling, but it was very good already. And as far as the personality, well, hey, she is who she is. So I think that's what she's going to sell.
Yeah, I don't know how much she needs to go out there and talk, do those long 20-minute promos in the ring that a lot of the guys do. But her wrestling seemed pretty good, promising. So I think she's got a new career for herself. Very happy to see Ronda being able to transition from MMA over into a new career where she can be in the spotlight. She can be in a form of combat sports. I think pro wrestling is a martial art. It's just not a... you're not using it for combat. It's an art. It's maybe not a martial art, because you're not using it,
Sports,
for fighting.
Entertainment.
Yeah,
Look,
but there's a definite.
It has its fan base.
It's something. It's an art form unto itself.
Of course, it has a history to it. There's years and years of different people, pioneers. So
of course, and it's nice to see that Ronda's able to go in there and transition smoothly, very athletic, and what I was impressed by was her, her ability to sell when she was getting moves put on her, when she was looking like she was in pain or struggling. She was able to convey those emotions with her face.
Now somebody needs to tell her the rules, because those closed fists, they're not legal. I mean, stop punching with a closed fist. What happened to old school wrestling?
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
Let's make wrestling
Fred.
Great again.
Does not exist anymore, Fred. You need to settle down.
Shouldn't be allowed.
So Ronda has made a very nice transition from MMA into pro wrestling. Brock Lesnar has made in the past a very nice transition from pro wrestling into MMA. Brock had a big match on Sunday night where he was expected to lose and then move over to the UFC, but he won. And people are wondering now, what is the future of Brock Lesnar in the UFC and in the WWE? People don't really know on either side what Brock is doing. The WWE announced this week that he signed a new contract with them, but they didn't define the terms of that contract. Is it for 3 weeks? Is it for 3 years? We don't know. So right now we're in the dark as far as Brock Lesnar's future in general.
Maybe you could correct me, but wasn't there also reports that he might actually have the right to do another UFC fight? I read a couple of reports where they were saying he might be allowed to do one more UFC fight, even though under contract with WWE.
That's it. There was one report that was going out there saying, well, Brock has signed a longer deal than just a month, but it's still not clear how long the deal is for. Is it for a year? Or we don't really know how long Brock's contract is with the WWE right now. And look, he was under contract with the WWE when he fought Mark Hunt at UFC 200. The WWE allowed that, so it wouldn't surprise me for that to be a term of his contract where he can go out and fight in the UFC if the situation arises. It's just not clear right now what's happening with Brock Lesnar. But there is a rumor that he would fight the winner of Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight championship of the world in December on like a New Year's Eve type card.
Well, if he has a contract where he could fight in the UFC and also perform in WWE, I don't see anybody being a loser from that. I mean, Brock is growing his stardom in WWE, or at the very least, the followers he has right now, they love him, so they're going to cross over to the UFC. And as far as the UFC, when he performs there, his last fight, it got changed to a no contest because of the drug testing. But in the end, all the Brock Lesnar fans remember that he pummeled Mark Hunt. He dominated Mark Hunt. So.
It feels like a victory for Brock,
yeah,
even
exactly.
though it got changed to a no contest because he was on performance-enhancing drugs.
So I don't see any losers here. Brock is not a loser because he's going to make a ton of money. UFC is not a loser because, hey, they're happy with a part-time Brock. I think, bring a big pay-per-view for the next 2 years, man. I think the UFC is happy with that.
But should we be happy with the UFC potentially giving this guy, who is coming off a drug suspension, who hasn't fought in a couple of years, a title shot? Potentially, the UFC, and the rumors are going around that this great fight between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight title is not only for the prize of the heavyweight championship, but also for the great prize of being able to fight Brock Lesnar in the main event of a big card and make a ton of money. And of course, for DC or Stipe, it would make a lot of sense. If you're those guys, you want to fight Brock. He's not the toughest fight, but he's going to make the most money. Not saying he's not a difficult opponent. He's a former heavyweight champion. He's tough, but he's not the toughest fight that's out there for Stipe or Daniel Cormier.
It wouldn't be the first time. He got a title shot pretty quick against Randy Couture back in the days. Look, who would he be stepping over? I mean, I'm looking at the rankings right now, and Ngannou just lost, so, he needs to win some fight. Good win for Volkov against Verdum, but I'm not ready to give him a title shot. Curtis Blades, Derek Lewis, Mark Hunt. I mean, there's no clear number one contender, so if Brock gets a title shot, who is he stepping over? Nobody. I mean, I'm okay with this. I mean,
okay.
This is a business also, and these owners, they want to make money, and Brock Lesnar is a special case. If anybody brings in 1 million pay-per-views, I guarantee you they're going to be in the main event. Find me another heavyweight that could bring in 1 million pay-per-views. He's getting a title shot.
Of course. He's the biggest star in the heavyweight division still. If he were to come back, he would be the biggest star. He would make the most money. He would sell the most pay-per-views. And I guess that's what matters the most at this stage in the game. I just remember a day in MMA where, you didn't want a guy coming like Brock Lesnar, coming off a drug suspension, coming off a no contest, having not
Sean Sherk got it against BJ Penn a long time ago.
He was the ex-champion when he got suspended for the drug test, though. Sean Sherk failed a test for steroids, the muscle shark. And then, he got his title stripped. He did a suspension, came back, fought for the title. That made sense. Brock is not heavyweight champion. Brock lost that heavyweight title to Cain Velasquez. And then he lost again to Alistair Overeem. And then he went to the WWE. And then he came back a few years later for a big payday. He beat Mark Hunt while on performance-enhancing drugs. And then went back to the WWE. I'm a Brock Lesnar fan. I don't know if there's a bigger Brock Lesnar fan around. He's the beast incarnate.
It's not the ideal situation, but I'm an MMA fan, and I want Stipe to make money. I want the UFC to make money, and I want the sports to grow. The sport to grow. So Brock Lesnar in a heavyweight championship fight makes sense. And I'll go back to my first argument, which says who gets the title shot right now after Cormier? I mean, there's nobody really deserving of a shot.
I think you're right. And I think ultimately that's what's the most important thing, is that you could say not Brock, but if not Brock, who?
I want to see DC versus Brock. DC, the big wrestling fan, but the actual Olympian wrestler against Brock Lesnar, NCAA wrestler. I mean, I want to see that.
I'm kind of happy for Brock, or rather for DC or Stipe, because they get to beat up Brock Lesnar and make a ton of money. You think Brock can beat DC or Stipe? I don't.
I think he could beat Stipe.
Whoa! What?
I think I would.
Did you see the Francis Ngannou fight? Did you see what Stipe just did to that guy?
Yeah. Did you see what Brock did to Mark Hunt last time he fought?
Yeah.
On
the gas.
I don't see Stipe winning the wrestling against Brock. I mean, this fight is either standing up or Brock is on top of you.
Yeah, I don't think Brock's going to be able to take Stipe down at will like he did to Mark Hunt. And standing up, Brock is going to get smashed to pieces.
But don't you want to see it? Come on, that's the fight you want to see.
Yeah, sure, I guess.
I mean, first I want to see DC because I'm picking...
I just think the right fight is Alistair Overeem for Brock. That makes more sense to me.
No,
I don't want to see Brock... Yeah, he'll lose, but he's going to lose in this fight too.
Yeah, well, at least it's for the title.
I don't think it should be for the title is my point. And the UFC... They don't need Brock to sell the title. Of course, the title fight will sell more, and the champion will make more money, and that's what the champion wants. But you could have a pay-per-view with the heavyweight championship on the line, and then Brock Lesnar against Alistair Overeem in just a fight.
Man, he's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, well, if he can't beat Alistair Overeem, should he be fighting for the heavyweight championship?
That was after diverticulitis or whatever it's called, man. Come on, give him a break. That wasn't the real Brock Lesnar.
Then give him a rematch. Let him prove that he can beat Alistair Overeem. And if he can beat Alistair Overeem, then by all means, give him a title shot.
Look, it would be a great shot. It would be a great fight. But if I'm the UFC, I'm putting him in a championship fight right away.
If I'm DC or Stipe, I'm demanding that my next opponent is Brock Lesnar, because DC, Stipe, whoever comes out the winner of that fight is going to take a vicious beating. It's going to be a very tough fight, and they're not going to make as much as they would in a fight against Brock Lesnar. So the payday, the compensation for fighting each other should be a fight and a money fight with Brock Lesnar. For either guy, whoever wins.
I'd love to see it. DC also is around the same age as Brock, so, that'd be a great fight.
I'm starting to feel, Fred, that you're picking DC in this fight.
Of course.
Yeah.
Come on. Isn't it obvious?
You're like, Brock could beat Stipe. You don't say Brock could beat DC. You're saying, I can't wait for DC and Brock. It's going to be a great fight.
NCAA wrestler against Olympic wrestler. I want to see that.
I got Stipe, my friend.
Nah, Stipe could fight Overeem.
What do you mean?
After he loses.
No, I don't think he's going to lose, is what I'm saying. I think Stipe beats DC this summer.
Maybe we'll have a friendly bet.
That's the fight of the summer, though, right? You look at the UFC action, the cards they've tabled so far. That's the big one. Anything else happening this summer in the UFC?
When is Romero and Whitaker? That's a good one. I want to see that. I mean, there's a couple of good fights.
225. Yeah, but that's a super fight. I mean, you're talking about the heavyweight champion of the world against the light heavyweight champion of the world for the heavyweight title, UFC 226. That's the big fight.
How many super fights have there been in the history of the UFC? It doesn't happen every month. You got to love them when they come, but there's other good fights coming up.
Yeah. Whitaker and Romero is a rematch. That one taking place June 9th in Chicago, Illinois, UFC 225. A few fights got made official for that, including our boy Alistair Overeem. He's going to fight Curtis Blades. That's a good fight. And the winner of that fight could make a claim of being next in line for the heavyweight title. And that's when it's going to get interesting, and we'll see if Brock shows up and how that goes. Speaking of pro wrestlers, CM Punk is going to be on that card in June. He's fighting Michael Jackson.
Who?
That's right. They are bringing back Michael Jackson from the dead. He's going to dance around and fight CM Punk. And we think that Punk might be able to beat Michael Jackson.
Armbar?
I mean, if he gets an armbar, wouldn't he rip his arm off? I mean, the guy's been dead for a few years, hasn't he?
I mean, I think...
Is it a different Michael Jackson? Whoa, sorry. I just got a note here, Fred. This is a different Michael Jackson. This is not Michael Jackson, king of pop and accused child molester. This is a different Michael Jackson. This is Mike Jackson, who fought Mickey Gall in Mickey Gall's first fight in the UFC. Mike Jackson is 0-1 as an MMA fighter, as is CM Punk. And both of their losses coming to the same guy, Mike Jackson, not the deceased singer.
Hey, you know what? In the end, I think you're right when you said, Floyd, if he were to fight MMA, he should fight CM Punk. That would be the fight that makes the most sense for both these guys, coming from different disciplines. Unfortunately for CM Punk, he's not as big a draw as Conor. He's a big draw, but he's not as big as Conor. So Floyd, if he comes to MMA, it's only for Conor. And right now, who else do you put in front of CM Punk? I mean, you put Michael Jackson or whatever, Trailer Time.
Yeah, whoever he is. I like it. Who knows what's going to happen?
You like it because...
It's CM Punk. I'm a big Punk fan.
Yeah, so...
Best in the world. So it's clobbering time!
So don't hate on me when Floyd has his first MMA fights and I'm like, yeah, I want to see Floyd.
You're a Floyd fan?
I always like Floyd.
I'm a Punk fan? Come on, man.
I mean, I respect the man. He's a great fighter.
I don't respect the man, but I know he's a great fighter.
No, I don't actually.
I respect the fighter. I disrespect the man,
exactly.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
CM Punk, I respect the man, and I respect the pro wrestler. The fighter, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I respect the effort.
CM Punk seems like an ungrateful guy. I mean,
how dare you?
Vince McMahon makes him rich, then just spits in his hand.
Oh, you don't know the whole story of CM Punk, Fred.
CM Punk screwed CM Punk.
No. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to accept that line. And we're going to have a frank discussion about CM Punk when we go to break. Or maybe after the show. Because honestly, I don't think a break is going to be enough time for me to really set you straight on CM Punk. My goodness. Another fight got announced for that UFC 225 card in Chicago. Holly Holm against Megan Anderson. That's a dangerous fight, and I'll tell you why. Megan Anderson was the Invicta featherweight champion. She has won 4 fights in a row. She has been going back and forth with Cyborg on social media. She is next for Cyborg. Unless Holly Holm has something to say about it. So, what do you do if Holly Holm beats Megan Anderson? What do you give to Cyborg? Holly Holm again? I don't think so. I would have just done Megan Anderson and Cyborg right away. What are we waiting for here with Cyborg? Where's Cyborg at? Where is Cyborg? How come we don't have another fight for her? She just fought, right? But let's go. How long is this going to take? She just fought Yana Kunitskaya in March. It's not that long ago. But what's next? Apparently it's not Megan Anderson. I really thought it would be. Maybe it's going to be Amanda Nunes? When's Nunes fighting? Isn't she fighting in Brazil sometime soon? Fred, when's that next UFC pay-per-view?
Well, in Brazil, isn't it Belfort against... who is Belfort fighting?
UFC 224. He's fighting Machida.
Nunes against Pennington.
Yeah. That's 224 coming up May 12th. Belfort and Machida there. I don't know. Maybe Cyborg is waiting for the winner to see, like, maybe she'll take on either Pennington or Nunes?
Well, I mean, right now, look, Cyborg, she has the weight cut issue, so after a fight, she gains back a lot of weight. She probably cannot fight on short notice like that. Or, well, the last fight was on short notice. I don't know. I'm making excuses.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Let's go, Cyborg! I don't know where she's at, but I'm a little bit confused at the booking of Megan Anderson versus Holly Holm because you figure you have a good fight right there for Cyborg and Megan Anderson, and you put that at risk with Holly Holm. But then again, it's a good fight for Holly Holm on a solid UFC pay-per-view coming up in June. CM Punk, that's my fight. CM Punk, Alistair Overeem, Holly Holm, and then the main event of that one is for the middleweight championship. That's going to be a fun UFC pay-per-view. We had a UFC pay-per-view this past weekend. Was it fun? Was it good? Was it Khabib time? Yes, it was Khabib time. As in, he spent a lot of time in the cage. 5 whole rounds. On the winning end over Al Iaquinta. Rose Namajunas also got a big victory. We'll talk about UFC 223. And Khabib called out one of our own. Khabib called out the greatest Quebecer, Georges St. Pierre. Should GSP answer the challenge? We're live on TSN 690.
Hey, this is Cain Velasquez, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
Hi, this is Sanders at Borovsky, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Tyron Woodley, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
Welcome back. It is Ringside Report Radio. I'm Dave Simon. He's Fred Garcia. AJ's not here. No AJ. He'll be back next week with us.
It's not the same without you, AJ.
I know. I miss him. It's like we spent so many years without him, and he's only been on the show for, a couple of months.
You know what I think it is? I figured out what it is. AJ is not here to back up his Joanna pick. he for 2-3 weeks, Joanna, she's going to win. She's going to win. Well, AJ, you were wrong. And,
yeah.
You should be sitting here and taking it from us.
And who was right, Fred?
Me and Dave.
That's right.
But you know who was right? It was Rose, because, Rose dominated the first fight, as we tried to tell you, AJ.
Thug Rose!
And she dominated the second fight. The only person that didn't see that was Joanna, and maybe you. Maybe you would have been here trying to argue with Joanna that she actually won it. But no, she didn't, man. AJ, come on, man.
Man, calling out AJ strong. We'll see what happens when he shows up next week on the show. Rose Namajunas getting a nice win over Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Unanimous decision, 49-46 on all three judges' scorecards. That's 4 rounds to 1. I know Joanna thought she won the fight. I did not think she won the fight. I thought Rose won that fight 4 rounds to 1.
Yeah. And
maybe 3-2. Maybe.
The only round she won, I think, was round 3 there, where there was a little bit of a change, in the momentum, but then Rose took over.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't finish her. I expected Rose to maybe finish her as she did in the first fight.
Yeah.
But we saw that the first fight was not a fluke. Rose is a better striker. She dominated the striking again. So props to Rose. She keeps on getting better. And who's next for her? Who's gonna beat Rose right now? That's the interesting question.
I don't know. I think there are a lot of good contenders out there for Rose Namajunas. You hear the names of Jessica Andrade, even Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who had a nice win over Felice Herrig on Saturday night as well. I think there are some opponents out there for Rose.
Karolina is the last one to beat Rose, so that could be an interesting one.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me. But yeah, I felt like the first fight, definitely not a fluke, but seeing Joanna the second time around, I think the weight cut did have a lot to do with her getting knocked out so quickly in the first fight. Joanna, I think, was really tired and just kind of drained, and she couldn't take the punches, whereas in the second fight, she was better hydrated, she prepared differently for the fight, and she took her time a little bit more. I think Joanna looked a lot better, obviously, the second time around, and I think, the weight cut the first time probably had a lot to do with her getting knocked out so quickly.
But, she looked better, but maybe, as you say, the quick turnaround, maybe that did not help her. Maybe a little bit more time, refine her game, accept that she lost the first fight and she needed to change things. Joanna's still a great champion. She's one of the greatest female fighters we've seen as of yet in the UFC, and she's still young. She still has a future in there. But maybe after losing in such a dominating way in the first fight, she should have took, a little bit of, maybe another fight, a little bit of time off, quick turnaround. Same result was expected.
Where do you want to see her continue her career? At 115 pounds or maybe go up to 125?
Wherever she feels comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not, if it's 125 she wants to try, I'm okay with that.
I'm not sure what's going to happen with Joanna. You think she'll be champion again?
Look, it might just be a bad style matchup. Joanna was a dominating champion. Look,
I could see her, waiting to see. I could see Karolina beating Rose and then Joanna beating Karolina, and then you have a whole thing going on.
Yeah, sure. Tisa Torres had a nice fight not long ago. So maybe a Joanna against Tisa fight, something like that. There's a lot of interesting matchups still to be made.
Yeah, I think Joanna has made herself into a star in the UFC. It'll be interesting to see where she goes from here. As for Rose, her reign as champion will continue. Reigning, and now her first defense of that UFC strawweight championship. And Khabib Nurmagomedov in the main event became the new UFC lightweight champion. Not the interim champion, not the maybe champion, not the champion while Conor's not here and will take the belt away from you at some point. He's the champion. Which is kind of weird. Is Tony Ferguson still a champion? Is he like the interim champion? What's the deal with him?
I don't know, man. Come on, man.
How come we don't know? We watch this sport pretty closely. We do a show about it every week. We're really paying attention. And it's hard to tell if Tony Ferguson even has a title anymore.
Well, I might be wrong, but I think from what I followed, Khabib is the only champion that's left. Both
really?
Conor Yes, because I think Tony Ferguson is out for still a little while, so that's the reason why they took off his title. And Conor, we all know Dana finally stripped him some time ago, which is not the reason why Conor went crazy.
That's right. So, okay, Khabib is the champion. He's now the undisputed champion, I guess, but it's still in some dispute. I'm disputing it.
So am I.
He's not the champion. Conor's the champion.
How can he claim to be
Who's the champion at 155 pounds, Fred?
Nobody.
Who's the real champion?
I mean, Conor hasn't defended anything other than Artem Lobov.
But he beat the guy who was the guy. He beat Eddie
When
Alvarez.
was that?
It was a couple years ago.
I mean, there's a new guy. We just don't know who it is.
Well, are we ever going to find out? Because it's either Khabib or Tony Ferguson.
How about we make Khabib against Tony Ferguson in 2019? Like, that's going to be like the 5th year in a row the fight gets canceled. I mean, that's still, I would tell you, like, Khabib versus Tony Ferguson would still be my fight to crown the champion right now. Because once Conor decides to come back, yeah, get a title shot right away. As of right now, I think Conor is on to other stuff, having parties or whatever. Like, Conor's in another world. Until he tells me he wants to fight, like, I don't even want to hear him tell me he wants to fight. I want to see him in a fight booked, you know? So until then, Tony Ferguson versus Khabib would have been my fight to crown the champion.
You figure that's the fight, and you figure for Khabib Nurmagomedov, that's the fight you want. Either Tony Ferguson or Conor McGregor. But he doesn't call out Tony Ferguson or Conor McGregor.
Well, I agree with him.
You agree with his move?
Oh, yeah.
Why not call out Conor? Why would he call out George St. Pierre?
Well, I mean, Conor, like, he did everything he needs to do to call out Conor. I mean, if Conor doesn't show up, what do you want him to do more? You want Khabib to pull stunts like Conor, you know, start stalking him?
Obviously, Conor wants a piece of him. He was attacking the bus that he was on. Khabib should then respond on the big stage and say, Conor McGregor, you attacked my bus. You're scared of me. Let's fight. Let's go. Stop being scared. Stop being the chicken.
Well, I mean, maybe Khabib's warlord buddy has some hookups in Ireland and he could, like, you know, find a way to stalk Conor. Other than that, I don't know what you want him to do more to generate this fight, man.
Let's hear Khabib Nurmagomedov from his post-fight comments after his victory over Iaquinta on Saturday night.
I'm here with the winner and new UFC lightweight champion, Khabib Nurmagomedov. First of all, how does this feel?
I don't know. First of all, I want to say Alhamdulillah. Without God, we cannot do nothing. Everything is nothing. You know, number one, believe on your one God. And I'm very sad about all my team here without my father. This everything because of my father. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Father. Coach Javier, come here, brother. Coach, please come here. Coach Javier, I come 2012 here. You know, he teach me.
Yeah. Khabib's talking all this nonsense. What did you think about his performance? I didn't think it was that good.
I didn't think it was that good, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt simply because it was a wild week. He changed opponent like a couple of times in that week. The only like example that comes to mind is when Daniel Cormier lost his fight against John Jones at the last minute and Anderson Silva came in. You know, like Daniel Cormier offered a little bit of a performance that was lacking, and I would say the same thing about Khabib last weekend. Doesn't change that he's undefeated. I mean,
yeah. He won the fight, but he didn't look amazing doing it. He didn't finish Iaquinta. There were moments in that fight where I thought like he could have finished Iaquinta, and he just wasn't able to. And I was disappointed.
Well, it's not the first time I get that. I feel like sometimes his submission game maybe needs to be refined. He's a dominating grappler. I mean, he's on top of you, and he's ground and pounding you. Not that much power, though, but hey, you're stuck there and you're just accumulating damage. A little bit like, I don't know if there's an example to be made, but you remember Nick Diaz standing up, he would throw so many punches. They wouldn't be super strong, but the accumulation of punches, it's a little bit the same thing. Khabib throws a lot of punches on the ground, dominates the stats, dominates the takedowns. You got to give him the win.
Of course, he definitely won, but he wasn't able to finish the fight.
That's who Khabib is. I mean, it doesn't take away from his greatness. He's not the guy that gets a lot of finishes, though.
Seeing that fight, do you think he can beat Conor McGregor?
I want to see it. I don't know. Which Conor? I mean, Conor hasn't fought in 2 years. Like, I won't accuse him of...
The Conor that fought Eddie Alvarez, do you think Khabib beats that guy? I don't.
I'll probably
I don't.
pick
I think Conor knocks that guy out.
Yeah,
Conor knocks out Khabib. And I think Tony Ferguson is going to be a real problem for Khabib if they give him that fight. A real problem.
I think Tony Ferguson could surprise Khabib on the ground, which would be a super intriguing matchup.
I was less impressed with Khabib during this fight than I have been in any of his previous fights. I was underwhelmed with Khabib.
Give him a break, man. He look.
Nah. All right, let's hear from him.
Who have nobody? It's best team ever. Thank you so much because of this guy.
It's a very incredible team.
Thank you, my teammates, Islam, Abu Bakr, Umar, Zuba. Zuba is here, Muhammad.
Oh, Zuba's here.
Management team, Rizwan, Ali. Without these guys, it's very hard for me, you know. I love all these guys. Ali, I love you too, brother.
Ali, who may or may not be like an informant, a law enforcement. There's a whole story with that Ali Abdelaziz guy. Look it up. Google him.
And, you know, we're all family. Around me is very good, humble people. And everybody push me, teach me, you know. Even now, I still teach, learning, you know. 100 year living, 100 year you have to learn, you know. Like George St. Pierre said one time, even you black belt, you have to stay in your mind white belt. But now, I want to fight with George St. Pierre in New York, Madison Square Garden. Hey, Madison Square Garden, November. And, you know, I want to say thank you for my opponent and his team.
So there it is. Madison Square Garden, November. Khabib wants GSP. Is that the fight? Is it going to happen?
Why not?
Do you want to see it happen? That's not bad. It's a good matchup. Tough matchup for Khabib. George can defend Khabib's takedown. He can do what Khabib does to other people to Khabib. George is bigger than Khabib, stronger, better striker, and the wrestling, and that's really where you see who's better. But I don't know, man. Would George even want to wrestle with Khabib? I don't think he would need to. You defend the takedown, you punch him, you kick him, you knock him out. I like that fight for GSP. I don't know if that's the fight GSP wants, though. Is it worth it? Is that going to be a money fight for George that he's willing to come back for? Of course, Khabib wants it. That's money for Khabib, but is it really a money fight for George? Is it worth it to drop all that weight potentially, go to 155 pounds and fight Khabib?
You see, I don't think it's about money for Khabib. I think Khabib wants the prestige of saying I defeated George St. Pierre, because if it was about money, he'd be calling out Conor McGregor again.
Sure.
So, I mean...
Okay, he wants the prestige of beating George St. Pierre, but what about for George? Is it worth it to fight Khabib?
Being the first guy to put a loss on Khabib's record.
And
maybe at 155, division champion.
He would be the first to do that, right?
That would be legendary.
You think he will?
I don't think so. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. George is not fighting for... Look, if we're lucky, we see George fight at the end of the year. If we're lucky.
Yeah, in November at Madison Square Garden against Khabib?
Yeah, exactly. If we're lucky, but...
It's not bad.
Can't be lucky every year.
That's right. I don't know if we will be.
26-0.
I don't know. Let's hear a little bit more from Khabib. I want to translate something that he said in Russian. Give you the lowdown on what he's doing.
Opponents and the last...
Other guys want to take this fight. Hey,
see, he speaks English the whole time.
If you're ready...
He's speaking English the whole time, then at a certain point, he switches it up.
Call my father, talk with him a little bit about what I make mistake. I think work too hard about my jab, you know, and give me 30 minutes and I can fight with anybody. Tony or Conor, doesn't matter. Maybe DC, doesn't matter.
I look forward to seeing you defend your title. Congratulations and enjoy it.
And I want to say thank you. Большое спасибо, сейчас в тяжелом положении у нас. Мой старший брат, совладелец из нашей команды Eagles MMA, Iaquinta Nurmagomedov. Он мне очень много помог. Не только мне, очень многим спортсменам России, нашей команде Eagles MMA. Сейчас у него чуть проблемы, но я хочу, чтобы он знал, что мы, спортсмены, молимся за него, делаем дуа. Я надеюсь, что наш национальный лидер Владимир Владимирович Путин поможет ему. И его хочу поздравить тем, что он выиграл выборы последние.
You hear him say Vladimir Putin?
Месяц назад. Большое спасибо. И я надеюсь, что это в скором времени решится.
Спасибо.
Всеодин Гаджиевич, мы всегда с вами. Спасибо.
Can you please translate
Спасибо.
that?
It's a little bit hard for me, you know.
Just roughly.
Yes, I talk about like my big brother, Iaquinta and Rose. You know, he helped a lot of us. And I want to say wish.
Yeah, so this guy, what Khabib was saying, the co-owner of his fight team, the Eagle fight team, Iaquinta Nurmagomedov, is in a difficult situation. He says he was very helpful to me and other athletes from Russia. Now he has problems, but they're praying for him. He believes the situation will be resolved, and he hopes that their leader, Vladimir Putin, will help him. He wants to congratulate their leader, Vladimir Putin, on his victory in the last election. And Khabib did not want to translate that bit. I wonder why. And that guy, Iaquinta Nurmagomedov, is being accused of all sorts of gangstery charges in Russia. Khabib hangs out with some interesting people.
Wow.
There are videos on the internet of Khabib
and
with
others.
that guy. Who's that? What's that guy's name again? The Chechen guy. You know who I'm talking about? Kadyrov.
You're sure?
Ramzan Kadyrov.
Could be.
What do you mean? I'm sure about what?
I thought it was Khalid.
No, it's Kadyrov.
Kadyrov. All right.
Kadyrov.
You're the Russian expert.
That's right. Ramzan Kadyrov. And you could just do an easy Google search on Ramzan Kadyrov and find all sorts of crazy things about this guy. And you can also Google Ramzan Kadyrov, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and find them hanging out and like rolling around, doing jiu-jitsu, eating together. They're buddies. Train MMA together. Ramzan Kadyrov, leader of the Chechen Republic, who doesn't believe in homosexuality, says it doesn't exist, even though he and his government have been accused of torturing and killing homosexuals within that country. Don't ask Khabib what he feels about gay people, okay? You're not going to like the answer. Should the UFC be pushing this guy? There are things about Khabib where if you kind of scratch beneath the surface, it gets kind of messy. Gets kind of icky. Gets kind of scary.
You want me to scratch?
Yeah. Scratch beneath the surface once in a while. Figure out who these people are and who they're hanging out with.
Look, this is a world...
Who's paying them? What they're doing when they're not fighting?
Yeah,
what's Khabib's life like when he's not fighting?
You mentioned that Kadyrov fella. Well, I mean, Khabib's not the only one that's friends with him. A lot of UFC fighters have visited him.
Including Fabricio Verdun.
Exactly. So, I don't know, man. What do? You talk about it, and, hey, it's people's choice. Do you cheer for him? Look, you know, he wouldn't be... Over time, if you go way back, there were rumors of Babe Ruth being friends with Al Capone. I mean, like, you know, gangsters and sports people have connected overall. It's not the first case that this would happen, so I don't have much of an opinion. Look, supposedly Conor McGregor is involved in so many things if you read the reports, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you want me to say?
I don't know, but it gets kind of weird. Because this is past, like, gangsters. It's like a leader of a country who's committing, you know, possible crimes against humanity.
Well, his buddy in jail is like an oligarch, which is like some rich type of person that gets a lot of money because, I don't know. But
yeah, exactly.
I wish I could be an oligarch.
Yeah, when I grow up, I want to be an oligarch.
And as far as the other dude, well, I don't know. Sometimes Kadyrov, I think like him and Putin are still on talking terms, so I don't think he's considered a gangster, but he's definitely somebody that you don't want to be on the bad side.
What's Putin considered?
I don't know. The great Vladimir Putin.
So that's the one side of the Khabib coin. You look at the other side, the guy who was throwing stuff at his bus, Conor McGregor, and there's a report and a photo of him with two well-known, at least in Ireland, they're relatively well-known Irish gangsters, and apparently Conor was with them in New York before he went and attacked that bus. So, I don't know, maybe he's getting gassed up by his buddies, feeling all big and tough and crazy, and he feels like, hey, they're above the law, maybe I'm above the law too. Dana White was pretty mad about Conor McGregor, wasn't he? After that bus thing, you heard Dana, he was like, oh, I can't believe Conor McGregor, it's disgusting, it's despicable. But then he comes out and he's like, hey, you know, a lot of things happen in pro sports. I'll take a dolly through a window any day compared to the other stuff that happens in these other sports leagues. Which,
like what?
Well, you know, rape, murder.
Well, I mean,
you know,
okay.
I mean,
I guess so.
Yeah, and that's just the NFL. Am I wrong?
No. You know, those things have happened in the NFL.
Domestic abuse, you know. Hey, man. So Dana was just saying, look, it could be worse. I could be Roger Goodell. He's not wrong.
I guess it's a way to look at it. I don't think Dana's in a good situation right now. I mean, you got a guy, you got your biggest marquee guy, your biggest moneymaker, causing you to cancel 3 fights last week. I mean, that's a lot of money that was spent for the UFC last week on a fight card that got all scrambled up, and a lot of it had to do with Conor, so... Anyways.
Yeah. Well, he did damage. Not saying what he did was cool, but it seems like Dana White, from being very, very mad, seems to have softened his stance on Conor McGregor. Let's hear a little bit from Dana White at the post-fight press conference on Saturday night when asked about Conor.
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
I think
that there's a mutual respect between us, and you know, obviously this week, I had so many things thrown at me this week. To focus on the show was insane. We'll get back and we'll focus on Conor McGregor.
Just stop there for a second. It's good. I mean, he's not mad.
Respect between us, and
there's a mutual respect between us. He's really changed his tune. I don't know what happened.
That sounds like the battered wife syndrome, where he doesn't want to admit there's a problem. I mean,
how is there a mutual respect
exactly.
between you? He's attacking your athletes 2 days before a fight and canceling 3 fights on your card because of his attack. How does that show that he respects you, Dana White?
I wouldn't know what to tell you.
People question Dana. We got to hear the rest of this.
We'll get
people
back
kind of
and
pressing
we'll focus
Dana
on Conor McGregor.
Right now, Dana, you don't have any firm, plan of attack or of what you're going to do action-wise with Conor?
No. I'm no.
You hear that? No. No. What he's telling you right there is no. What am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. He's Conor McGregor. He's bigger than the sport. I need him in the company. What can I do? Fire him?
Well, I wouldn't tell you as much as he needs him in the company. He cannot fire him because he doesn't want anybody else to be making money off of Conor McGregor. Right now, he has Conor McGregor under contract, so in a way, he's a little bit in control, and he wants the reward. Let's not kid ourselves. He wants the money that he could make off Conor McGregor, and never the UFC. Or like, Conor McGregor would have to kill somebody for the UFC to fire him. Like, the UFC are not firing Conor McGregor. They're going to live with his headaches, unfortunately, until there's no more money to be made.
That's right.
Once they see, like, if Conor comes back and loses a fight or two, hey, if he continues to act a fool, then they'll say, yeah, okay, go finish your career somewhere else because you're too much trouble. But
if this was pretty much anybody else on the roster that did that bus attack like Conor McGregor, they would be banished from the sport forever. They'd be blackballed from the UFC easily. Paul Daly attacked Josh Koscheck after a fight. He threw a punch, and he's never fought in the UFC since. He was banned.
But at the same time, Dana said...
Well, it's not cool what he did.
No, it's not cool, but I'm going to bring another example where Dana said, like, oh, John Jones never going to headline a pay-per-view again, and, we've seen John Jones headline a pay-per-view again.
Because you can't really sanction those guys, because they're too big to sanction. Like, John Jones is too big of a star. You can't really punish him.
I mean, you can't fire him. You can't let Bellator grab him.
Exactly. Dana was asked a little bit more about Conor on Saturday night.
You obviously had something in mind before he gets to New York. Were you looking at
he didn't come to New York to do anything with me. He jumped on a plane with all those guys to come to New York for the Khabib thing. That's not true. He came to New York for Khabib.
What were you thinking?
He didn't come here to meet me.
What were you thinking, though, like date-wise, as to when he would fight again?
I didn't even know Conor was here. There was like this thing at the press conference where a couple of guys at the press were like, they acted like they knew something, like he was coming here to meet, or he was coming here, you know? So, no, I didn't know anything about him coming here.
But did you have a date in mind for him? Like, you wanted him to fight when? Even before all this happened?
September. We had talked about him fighting in September.
Do you think that's still possible at all?
I don't know. You can't ask me anything about Conor. I don't know anything about Conor. I haven't thought about it. There's nothing to think about this week except for this event.
I don't know anything about Conor. You can't ask me anything about Conor. I don't know anything. But maybe September. Is it still possible? I don't know. Maybe. Well, who's he going to fight, Dana?
Well, look, is it possible? The question is simple. Conor, do you want to fight? Yes? Okay, well, we got a spot in September or whenever you're ready.
Hopefully they can get him ready for September. That's the fight I want to see, right? Conor McGregor against whoever. I don't really care. I just want to see Conor in there in September. Will it be against Floyd Mayweather? There was a rumor that Floyd was going to fight Conor McGregor in the octagon without elbows or takedowns or kicks, but they'd be wearing 4-ounce MMA gloves, they'd be barefoot, they'd be in an octagon, and they could clinch. That was the rumor. So it'd be like a fight, a boxing match, but with special rules, kind of looking like an MMA fight. Dana White shot down those rumors, said it's not even close to being true, and I hope not, because that would be terrible.
I also hope not, but hey, Dana shut down the first fight and it still happened.
How bad would that be, though? If Floyd's going to get into the octagon and wear MMA gloves, just fight MMA, man. Come on. Don't be scared.
Look, I've been on the record to say that it's going to happen because there's too much money to be made. But honestly, if it doesn't, I'll be so happy because I don't want to see a thing where Conor, is playful, where he's not like the killer that we've seen before, where he just plays around. No, I want to see a real fight. Okay, enough of these freak shows.
Give me a real fight. Just give me a real fight. Whatever it's going to be. Put Conor McGregor in there against somebody legit. Can we just stop with this Floyd Mayweather stuff?
Fight or retire.
That's right. You can't say defend or vacate because he's already been stripped of the title. Tomorrow night, Dustin Poirier takes on Justin Gaethje. It's an 8 p.m. start time on Fox.
Good fight.
Poirier is the favorite, -140. Gaethje +110. That's a really good one. Carlos Condit takes on Alex Oliveira in the co-main event. It's a good fight. A little bit disappointed, though, because it was supposed to be Matt Brown versus Carlos Condit. It's still a good fight, but Matt Brown and Condit would have been crazy.
Yeah, but it's been a while that we've seen Condit, so, hey, give him a warm-up fight, and then the competition goes up. But, hey, I hope we see the old Carlos Condit. I remember his fight against Robbie Lawler. I had him as the winner, but unfortunately the judges didn't see it that way. Great fighter. Happy to see him back.
Very interesting prospect, Israel Adesanya.
Body type of John Jones.
Yeah, 12-0 as a pro. This guy, 28 years old, a Nigerian, fighting in the middleweight division. He takes on Marvin Vettori. That's a good fight on the main card. We also have Michelle Watterson taking on Courtney Casey in the strawweight division. Cara de Zapato takes on Tim Boach on the prelim card. Wilson Hayes taking on John Moraga. This is a decent card. Canadian fighter Arjun Bullard taking on Adam Wieczorek. Speaking of Canadian fighters, I want to give a shout-out to the Canadian gangster, Olivier Aubé Mercier. What an awesome win at UFC 223 for Olivier, defeating Evan Dunham by TKO in just 53 seconds. I think that was the greatest performance of Olivier's UFC career. Improves to 11-2. He's won 4 in a row, and he's now ranked 15th in the world in the UFC ranking. So Big congratulations to Olivier Aubin, a guy from right here in Montreal. Got a big win on Saturday night over Evan Dunham. Looked phenomenal and took home a $50,000 performance of the night bonus. So congratulations to Olivier. A huge weekend for him.
Great fight for him. Biggest win of his career. If you look on top of him, man, these are big names. You know, he's with the big boys right now. So whether it's like Paul Felder, Anthony Pettis, I mean, even James Vick is a nice little fighter there. Iaquinta, Chiesa, Nate Diaz, Kevin Lee, Gaethje. I mean, those are the top dogs in the division. So.
And I'll tell you what, Olivier put his hand up when they were looking for an opponent for Khabib. And watching Olivier and watching Khabib on Saturday night, I feel like Olivier had a really good shot of beating Khabib if he would have been in the cage with him on Saturday night. That version of Olivier is scary because he is a great grappler, and his hands are really coming together. Olivier is a monster right now. Watch out, Khabib. Watch out, everybody at 155. Olivier has stepped it up another level. Ringside Report Radio right here on TSN 690. I'll be back tomorrow night for Wrestling Uncensored. Of course, we're always online, ringsidereport.net. Every episode of Ringside Report Radio is online at ringsidereport.net. Subscribe on iTunes. That way all the shows go right to your device. Easy. Every show right there. Leave a comment. Give us a 4-star review, 5-star review. 5 stars. Yeah, don't give us 4. Give us all 5, right? I mean, come on. What are you doing? Google Play, iTunes. We're on YouTube as well. YouTube.com/ringsidereport.net. Ringside Report, DOTNET on YouTube. We have the channel. We do live videos all the time. We're live after WrestleMania. Every show, every podcast gets put up on our YouTube page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is booming right now. YouTube.com/ringsidereport.net with the .net spelled out DOTNET.
We missed AJ a lot, but we can't wait to have Anthony back next week.
Anthony will be back next week. Follow him on Twitter at Dan E. Bruck. Follow Fred on Twitter at Freddie MMA, and you can follow me at Dave Simon MMA. I'll be back with Johnny North tomorrow night for Wrestling Uncensored. Yes, WrestleMania happened last weekend, and a lot has happened since in the WWE. We will tackle that tomorrow night. For Fred Garcia, I'm Dave Simon, and this has been Ringside Report Radio.